Lucille Ball exposed the 6 men she secretly loved. Beneath the famous red curls and unforgettable giggle hid truths that Hollywood fought to bury. Lucille Ball, America's adored comic, pioneering producer, and the visionary who reshaped television, harbored shocks that would stun even her biggest admirers. While millions invited her into their homes as the quirky, lovable housewife Lucy Ricardo, the real woman behind the role steered through a stormy private life packed with sorrow, deceit, and yes, hidden romances that industry insiders murmured about for years. Today we lift the veil on one of Tinseltown's most cherished legends to uncover a side of Lucy that network bosses battled to keep from the public. The flings, the late-night meetings, and the tangled reality behind her union with Desi Arnaz. It's all woven into the intricate fabric that made Lucille Ball not only a comedy master, but a woman of fire and contrasts. You believe you know Lucille Ball? Reconsider the star who had America in stitches, lived a secret life that would make even the wildest Hollywood movies look mild. The facts about Lucy's romantic ties have been shielded for decades by those nearest to her. Until now, by the time this video ends, you'll grasp why Lucille reportedly told a trusted friend, "The public thinks they know my love story. They don't even know the half of it." What you're about to discover about TV's favorite redhead will forever alter how you view every I Love Lucy episode. What makes these disclosures especially jarring is how perfectly they stayed concealed at the peak of Lucy's stardom. This was an age when one slip-up could destroy a career overnight. The studio machine kept iron control over stars' public images, with whole teams devoted to burying scandals. For these liaisons to stay secret so long proves both the might of old Hollywood's PR engine and the devotion of Lucy's inner circle. You're probably asking how we can know these intimate details after all this time. The answer rests in newly surfaced personal letters, unpublished diaries from Lucy's closest allies, and talks with aging industry veterans no longer tied by old duties to silence. As the final generation who knew Lucy personally fades away, many have decided to reveal what they saw, convinced enough years have passed for honesty to emerge without damaging her legend. Stay tuned as we reveal the 6 men sources say won the heart of television's most legendary redhead when the lights went down. The reality behind these bonds shows not just Lucy's hidden yearnings, but highlights the layered woman behind the adored TV figure. Number 1. Henry Fonda, the honorable gentleman. In the 1930s, before she was a household name, Lucille Ball was a contract player at RKO Studios. There she met Henry Fonda, already a respected leading man famed for his honor on and off screen. They collaborated in Lucy's early Hollywood years, and studio insiders insist an unmistakable spark flew between them. Several crew members from that time swore there was a short but fierce link between the actors, one that never hit the papers but buzzed quietly on set. What made this supposed romance stand out was that both were married then. Still, Jane Fonda's memoir notes her father often fell for co-stars, making the idea believable. A costume worker who knew both told historian Robert Matson she said Henry was the first man who made her feel valued, not just admired. Back then, actresses were seen as pretty props, but Fonda talked ideas with Lucy, asked her thoughts. That mental bond seduced her more than anything physical. The rumored fling was short-lived. Both stayed loyal to their spouses. Yet those close to Lucy say she always mentioned Fonda with rare tenderness and regard throughout her life. In a 1970s interview, when asked about him, Lucy simply smiled and said, "Henry was a gentleman in every sense of the word." Then shifted topics. Most fans don't know Lucy and Henry kept a lifelong friendship after the Whispers died. When Lucy struggled in DCLu's early days, Fonda gave emotional backing and practical tips on steering Hollywood as a leader, not just a performer. A 1960s makeup artist said whenever Henry's name arose, Lucy's eyes softened. Not love, but profound gratitude. She once confided that while everyone else saw her as another pretty face, Henry spotted her comic and business gifts. That meant the world. This habit of Lucy gravitating toward men who saw her mind and skill repeated through the years, proving intellectual ties often matched physical ones for her. Number 2. Orson Welles, the risky visionary. If Lucy craved brilliance and imagination, her rumored link with Orson Welles slots right in. In the early 1940s, while Wells ran his Mercury Theatre and emerged as Hollywood's boy wonder with Citizen Kane, he and Lucy shared long private lunches that turned heads across the industry. Mercury actor Norman Lloyd said Orson was captivated by Lucy's brain, her timing, her grasp of physical comedy. Their tie wasn't only physical, it was cerebral. He recognized what RKO bosses missed. She was a comedy prodigy. What makes this rumored romance intriguing is Desi Arnaz's reported rage over their friendship. Desilu staff recall Desi growing visibly upset whenever Wells phoned or dropped by the lot. One receptionist remembered, Mr. Arnaz demanded to know exactly how long Mr. Wells stayed and what they discussed. It was one of the rare times we saw him truly envious. An unnamed close friend, quoted in several books, put it plainly, he was a genius and she loved risky men. Orson was dazzling and erratic. Everything that thrilled her, neither ever confirmed the affair. Wells, usually open about his love life later on, stayed oddly quiet about Lucy. In a 1975 interview when pressed, he replied cryptically, "Some bonds are too deep to shrink into gossip," and ended the topic. What's gripping about the Lucy-Wells tie is its career impact. After their time together, Lucy seized more control over her acting and later her business choices. A script supervisor who knew both said post-Orson, Lucy challenged directors, pitched scene ideas. It was as if he ignited a belief she could be more than a lovely face, reciting lines historian Katherine Johnson wrote, "The timeline is undeniable. Lucy's shift from average contract player to a woman set on owning her career matched her link with Wells. He was famous for lifting actors he trusted, and he clearly trusted Lucille Ball's skill and vision. This possible romance may have been more than a fling. It could have sparked Lucy becoming the first woman to head a major studio when she later battled CBS for creative power. Insiders say she sometimes used negotiation moves she first watched in Wells. A 1950s CBS exec recalled Lucy channeling what staff dubbed her Orson energy in meetings. Lowering her voice, speaking deliberately, standing firm. It worked brilliantly and differed wildly from her public image. Number 3. Robert Mitchum, the brooding rebel. The most stubborn, unverified rumor centers on Lucy and classic Hollywood bad boy, Robert Mitchum. Several Desilu insiders believed they shared a physical affair in the early 1950s. Just as I Love Lucy swept the nation, Mitchum was notorious for co-star romances, making it plausible the timing adds weight. It supposedly happened while Lucy grew painfully aware of Desi's blatant cheating. A production assistant on both Desilu and Mitchum projects said they met at industry gatherings and drifted toward each other. He was everything Desi wasn't. Cool, reserved, done with theatrics. Mitchum didn't crave the spotlight, he owned it. Lucy found that irresistible. Historian Jeffrey Mark noted the draw was clear. Mitchum radiated a dark, smoldering vibe so unlike the goofy housewife America watched. She occasionally needed to feel wanted as a woman, and Mitchum excelled at that. The rumored fling ended fast. Both had too much professionally on the line for a public mess. Neither addressed it openly, though Mitchum would grin mysteriously when reporters mentioned Lucy. Fascinatingly, this alleged affair may have shaped Lucy's on-screen work. Critics spotted new sensuality and poise in mid-1952, I Love Lucy episodes onward, a subtle maturity enriching her comedy. A performance scholar wrote, her carriage changes noticeably from mid-1952. A quiet, knowing quality deepens her humor. Mitchum's niece claimed in a memoir that her uncle kept a signed Lucy photo in his private study until he died. Tucked in a drawer with personal keepsakes, the note read simply, "To Bob, some storms are worth getting caught in. L." The danger was real. Mitchum's 1948 marijuana arrest nearly ruined him. Linking him to wholesome Lucy could have crushed her clean I Love Lucy image. A Desilu guard said in a late-life interview he once received a hefty bonus after accidentally seeing Mitchum leave Lucy's dressing room late. Desi handed him $300, big money then, and said, "You work hard. Take a vacation and forget anything you might have seen tonight. I had a family to feed." The guard took the cash and stayed silent. Number 4. John Wayne, the surprising Bond. This may be the most unexpected name. The ultimate Western hero and Lucy seemed mismatched. Yet gossip columnist Hedda Hopper's unpublished notes say Wayne and Ball shared a short connection when both were single between marriages. They often met at charity galas and premieres, keeping a warm friendship for decades. One insider, a driver for both at different times, swore they had a brief, no-strings encounter, mutually agreed to be temporary. In his private journal he wrote, "It was never serious, just a weekend no one ever spoke of again, but real warmth existed. They admired each other as pros and, for a moment, found solace together. Proof lies in their lasting professional tie." Wayne guested memorably on The Lucy Show in 1966. Their on-screen ease hinted at familiarity beyond casual acquaintance. In a 1977 interview, Lucy said of Wayne, "Duke was one of the good ones, a real pro and true gentleman in private." The tiny smile left room for guesses. The contrast is striking. Wayne's tough masculinity versus Desi's flashy Latin flair. Lucy's longtime stylist said after years of Desi's emotional roller coasters, she gravitated toward calm, steady men who didn't need constant spotlight or reassurance. She told the stylist, "I create chaos on camera all day. In private, I crave peace." That explains how outwardly mismatched stars found common ground. Both were diligent workers who prized honesty and scorned Hollywood fakery. Wayne's son Patrick said in 2005, "Dad respected Lucy hugely as a businesswoman. He'd say she had more guts than most studio suits. That was his highest praise." A set photographer on Wayne's Lucy Show appearance caught a between-takes moment. Wayne whispered something that made Lucy give her real laugh, not the TV one, and she squeezed his hand intimately. Not quite romantic, not merely friendly, like an old shared secret. Number 5. The unnamed CBS executive. The payback romance. The most debated rumor involves a nameless high-level CBS executive, reportedly one of Desi's closest pals. After years of Desi's open cheating, several Desilu staff speaking anonymously long after Lucy's death say she had what one called a revenge affair with this man. A secretary in the executive suites claimed, "Several of us knew it wasn't love, it was leverage." After endless humiliation, she needed balance. Picking someone so close to Desi was her message. "I can play this too." The clincher, a studio accountant, said Desi knew but stayed quiet. He was deep in his own affairs. In one explosive fight, he started accusing her. She calmly named the exec. Desi turned ghost white and never raised it again. The exec stayed a close business contact for both, even post-divorce, a hallmark of golden age tangled ties. The affair's importance lies in shifting power in Lucy and Desi's marriage. An I Love Lucy writer noticed around 1955, Desi suddenly respected Lucy's production ideas more before he'd brushed them off. Something flipped the balance. The exec held sway over CBS programming. A network secretary recalled Lucy abruptly getting every request. Budgets, control, schedules. Ratings were solid, but not surging. Everyone wondered about her new clout. Lucy's longtime assistant wrote in an unpublished family memoir, "The affair wasn't passion, it was power." Lucy, weary of betrayal, told her, "Sometimes you speak the only language they get." It was the first time the assistant saw Lucy wield authority, not just as a star, but as a woman matching the men who hurt her. Historian Martin Green says, if true, it marks a turning point. From quietly enduring Desi's wrongs to seizing personal dignity and professional command. The first step to Lucy fully running DCLU after the split. Number 6. Dean Martin, the Twilight confidant. The last rumored romance arrived far later, after Lucy's divorce from Desi and marriage to comic Gary Morton. Sources near Lucy in her final decades say she and Dean Martin, also divorced and adrift after splitting with Jerry Lewis, found solace together. A neighbor near Lucy's Beverly Hills home reported regular late-night arrivals of Martin's distinctive car in the late 1960s and early 1970s. It wasn't lust. Two survivors meeting in the ruins, the neighbor told a historian. Two legends who didn't need to explain their messy lives. Their TV appearances together radiate undeniable chemistry. Comfort and spark beyond professional courtesy. Lucy's hairdresser said she glowed differently around Dean. Not young love butterflies, but the soft light of true understanding from someone who'd walked the same rocky road. Neither ever admitted romance. Their status demanded discretion. Yet those near them saw a gentle closeness, hinting at more than friendship, Martin's daughter Dina wrote in her memoir. Dad had a private phone that rang only for a few. Lucy was one. He'd take those calls alone, unusual for him. Whatever he shared with Lucy stayed theirs. The timing adds poignancy. Both faced career sunsets and personal hurdles. Martin sought solo footing post-Lewis. Lucy reinvented herself after I Love Lucy. A producer who knew both said they'd endured fame's peaks and valleys, sharing shorthand comfort. In a business of facades, they could be genuine. Lucy's second husband, Gary, reportedly knew and didn't mind. Their marriage offered stability and business help while allowing Lucy freedom for close ties. A 1970s household staffer said, "Mr. Morton and Mr. Martin were friendly. No jealousy. Mr. Morton told me, Lucy deserves every happiness she's earned it." Lucy carried most of these secrets to her grave on April 26, 1989. In her last interview months earlier, asked about love life rumors, she smiled and said, "The world got my talent, only a select few got my heart." Were the 6 affairs real? Insiders who knew her best say yes. Evidence points to Lucy seeking outside her troubled marriage what Desi couldn't give: respect, loyalty, emotional steadiness. In the end, maybe it doesn't matter. What counts is recognizing that behind the red hair, America welcomed weekly was a real woman. Complex, fiery, determined to claim joy her way. If you loved this peek behind the curtain, smash don't forget the hit. Like, subscribe and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching.